Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for my first YouTube video. Here I'm taking masking tape and I'm just putting it along the edges. This is going to be used later on to add rocks, but for now we want to cover up the white of the paper. I'm really trying to focus on pushing these down tightly. If you don't push it down correctly, the paint will leak underneath it and it won't leave clean lines. Here I'm just getting out my paints. I'm going to start with this very round brush. It's nothing special, but I got it at Walmart, and I'm just going to use it because it holds a lot of paint, and we're going to paint the background with this. So I'm going to start off with just a regular blue, and I'm going to use a lot of water. Here I'm just wetting the paper so that when I put the paint down, the paint will spread to where I add the water. I'm doing this because it'll become easier to go around the mermaid and not get the blue on top of her. If you do make a mistake and do go over the mermaid in some spots, later on I'm going to be showing you how you can correct that. I'm only going to be bringing the blue up so far. I'm going to be adding a highlight in the left top corner. That's why I left some of the tape out. There's just a little piece. We'll remove that later and we'll add a highlight there so that it looks like the sun is shining through the water. Here I'm showing you just a smaller brush. I'm going to be going around the mermaid and trying to focus on getting the paint as close as possible so that there's no white gap. Now I'm switching back to that big round brush and I'm getting yellow, and I'm going to take that little piece of tape off, and this is going to be the start of our highlight. We're going to have to blend all of this a little bit later, but for now just lay down your paint and we'll worry about blending it a little bit later. Now let's let this dry and we'll be right back. I did go ahead and outline the mermaid. Here I'm taking some dark blues and some dark purples and I'm adding the shadow. This will allow it to look like we have more dimension when we add the darker shadows. I'm trying to make it so that the darkest part of the painting is at the bottom. I'm also using a lot of water here to help the paint bloom. It will help the blending process. Here I'm going to show you how you can correct some of your mistakes. Take a bristle brush and get it really wet and start scrubbing lightly in the area that you messed up on. Then blot it with a tissue. The more you scrub, the more will come off. But be careful so you don't pill your paper. Pilling means when there's little balls and they roll on the paper. It's paper damage, so be very careful when you're rubbing. Here I'm going to go in with my colored pencils. Make sure that you're pushing hard enough to blend everything. I'm really going to try to add a lot of color. This is an Egyptian mermaid, and so to me, when I think about it, they have a lot of makeup on, and so I'm really trying to mimic that. Now I'm going to be coloring her jewelry. When I think about Egyptians, I think that they have a lot of jewelry, and I think that it's gold. So that's what I drew, and that's what I'm going to color. Now I'm going to be working on the tail, the fin, and her hair. I'm going to be working in some reds on her tail. We're going to do a lot of blending here, and I'm also going to work in some orange and some yellow. I'm also coloring her top here and adding a few little details that need to be done. I know that the hair looks kind of funky right now, but we're going to be using black and we're going to blend it in. So that's why the lines are there, because I wanted to have a few highlights throughout the top part of her hair. I'm really going to be going back and forth with this. It's very difficult to blend with these colors, and so I'm going to really work at it, and I'm going to be adding colors and going back and forth. But for the tail, the only colors that I used were red, orange, and yellow. It's really just about blending everything. Here you see me getting out black. The reason I'm using it from the tube is because that's when it's the most pigmented. I'm going to be using this small tapering brush, and I'm going to pull some of the black into the red, and vice versa. I'm going to go back and I'm going to take some of the red and pull it up into the black. You really want to blend here. You don't want any harsh lines. Now I'm removing the tape, and the key is to just work fast and pull hard. Here I'm mixing some black and some white to make a very dark gray, and we're going to start coloring in the rocks. We really want to use the tubed paint, that way it's the most pigmented. We really don't want to make our own black here because it won't be as pigmented and it will show up sheer. And I really wanted this to look like rocks instead of some seafood rocks. I'm really trying to work around and make sure that there's no white showing. And there you have it, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you followed along. If you liked my video, please subscribe.